And just, or on your towel or just on the carpet, just get comfortable and have your feet kind of hip distance support. You can kind of lift up your toes and then spread them back out along the mat and give them a little bit of a wiggle. And your arms are going to kind of come down long on either side of you. And I just want you to just have just a moment of trying to kind of yield, sink, and just kind of let go. Your legs should feel that they're kind of almost standing up in their own right. So you kind of feel your shins kind of dropping into your ankle joint and your thigh bones easily kind of dropping down into the hips. And this will really feel great the more and more you come to do Pilates. And then I can just notice like little things without judgment. Do my wrists touch the mat, or do they tend to lift up? I'm a little bit tight in my shoulders. And we've all got these wonderful wonks in our bodies. And we're just kind of going, yeah, okay, so that shoulder's a little bit higher. Okay, that's fine. Because the great thing is, once you start moving, it's all going to change. So bring the arms up to the ceiling and imagine you're holding one of those big kind of blown up beach balls, and you can reach your fingers. And from your little finger side, you're just going to reach for the ceiling. And what that does is it picks up my shoulder blades and they kind of open and slide around my rib cage. And then I'm just going to allow my arms to fall deep and back into their sockets. And I'm going to do that a few times. And I'm going to encourage you to maybe take an in-breath as the arms reach up and an out-breath as the arms sink back into their sockets. And just keep going there, maybe one or two more. So we do these lovely kind of movements to kind of just reset, release a bit of tension before we start the main kind of theme or bolt of the class. So floating up with no effort. You don't have to muscle in, keep the head heavy, the pelvis heavy and down. And you've just really got your mind around the back of the rib cage. So you're trying to keep the arms in their sockets, and from the reach, encourage the gliding and sliding of the rib cage around, on the shoulder blades at the back of your body around your rib cage. And then you're going to let the arms settle. Now you're going to think about the pelvis. You've got your bony hips here, and you've got your pubic bone, sitting bones, and the mid bit of the very bottom of your spine in your pelvis is your sacrum, if you didn't know. It's just that bony bit that you can feel that you're laid on in between your legs right now. And you're just going to do a little bit of a pelvic rock. So you're going to let your hip bones roll towards you, and therefore your tailbone will roll towards you. And you'll find that the back of the waist just softens into the mat. I'm going to move my hands out of the way so you can see. And then you're going to roll the tailbone away and feel kind of the heaviness, the imprint of the pelvis. And just keep doing that. So if I was on a clock face, I would just be gently moving forwards and back. And the key here is, and it might be a habit you need to break, is you've got to keep your stomach muscles soft. So I don't want to move my pelvis from my stomach muscles, I want to move my pelvis from my pelvic muscles. Really kind of important thing to kind of try and master a little bit, and it might take time. So my mind is either on my hip bones rolling away and towards me, or I like to think of my tailbone tipping away and then tipping towards me. And I'm trying to find ease of movement. Pelvic clocks are not meant to be hard. They're meant to be easy. It's mobility, it's pelvic health, which I do a lot of, and hopefully get to run a lot of workshops here. at some point, and then just let the pelvis settle, sink and soften. Now we're going to do that action side to side. So we're going to feel the weight in the back of one pelvic half and let it yield, sink into the mat. Therefore, the other hip will float up. My legs do this kind of piston action, and then I'm going to come back to center. Roll across the back of the pelvis. Let the other pelvic half sink and yield so that this pelvic half might lift up. And again, as you're doing that from side to side, just kind of try and do it with as little effort as possible. It's almost like I've got your pelvis for you and I'm just gently rocking it from side to side. You'll notice your knees pistoning forward. You can allow kind of your feet to kind of help guide that a little bit. But keep checking in and seeing how much effort your body wants to put into this, because it should feel easy and soft and flowing. And at first it may not, but again, this will change. If you've got tight hips, this is going to feel quite different to start with. And then again, let that movement disappear, settle into the center. And now you're going to do a beautiful swirling movement with the pelvis. It's kind of like the image of the water when it goes down the plug hole. Or again, you can think of your clock face and you're just tipping the pelvis around the edge of the clock. And then let that movement slowly, completely disappear, and see if you can go around the other side. And it might feel a little bit like not as smooth the other way. And you're just allowing time for your body to kind of ease itself into a lovely kind of feeling of kind of mobility ease. Yeah. And then settle into the center. So we've done some pelvic rocks. So now you're quite different. If you've had anything underneath your head, you're going to pop it to one side now, and we're going to look at bridging, one of my favorite exercises. So my hips are hip distance and my hands are going to play a part in this, or the back of the arms are going to play a part of this. So I'm going to stand down into my feet, feel my feet sinking into my mat, and allow my pelvis to lift up, and then back of the waist, pelvis back down, and kind of unroll your pelvis like a carpet or a rug unrolling. Just do that 2 more times. So let your feet sink down to invite your pelvis off. Just maybe to the lowest rib cage now, and then unravel, roll out, and send your tailbone away. So if you've got osteopenia or osteoporosis, you're not going to do this articulation variation. You're going to stand down in your feet and let your pelvis lift, and then crease and fold at the hips and pop your pelvis back down. So you're coming up as one and coming down as one. There's no moving through the segments of your spine. If you haven't, then you're going to keep coming with me. And then when we get to here, think about your shins going forward and away, or your knees going forward and away over the toes to bring you into your bridge. And here I've not extended, I've not pushed my rib cage up, I'm still on my shoulders. And if you've done a lot of walking or sitting, you might take time to tease this open. And then from here, I'm going to soften back down, delay my bottom, and allow from top to bottom my rib cage to spread wide into the mat. Back of the waist spreads wide, and then the pelvis unravels. So do that a few times in your own time. Shoulders are spreading, and just be ever so kind of gentle and kind of give yourself grace, give yourself chance to kind of tease and coax this out of your body. Now, if your hamstrings are cramping when you do this, you're going to put a ball or a cushion between your legs to encourage your inner thighs to take part in hip extension, which this should be doing. If you're tight in the hips, this might cramp up a little bit, so don't go all the way up to start with. So next time you're up, whichever version you've taken part in, so you're going to allow one hip to dip and then bring it back up. Then you're going to allow the other hip to dip and bring it back up. So you can just let the hip fall away and stand strongly into the opposite leg, and then to bring the hip back up, just reach the shin forward and then drop, reach the shin forward. So we're doing a bit of rotation all the way up here in our thoracic. Yeah, we're encouraging that kind of movement that we need for good rotation, and then come all the way back down there. So now we're going to interlink the fingers and take them behind the head, take the elbows wide and then bring the elbows close. So if you need to put a headrest back in, now is a good time to do it. So as I'm taking my elbows wide, I feel my shoulder blades gently slide together, and then I'm going to reach them around and up, and I'll feel them widen at the back. I'm going to do one more and then I'm going to pause halfway. So we're going to do a little bit of a chest lift. So finding the length through the neck, I'm going to send the crown of my head to the wall behind me, look down my cheekbones, and I'm just going to roll up towards my shoulder blades, keeping my tailbone, my pelvis down and heavy, and then I'm going to lengthen pubic bone to navel, navel to sternum, sternum to throat to come back down. So I want to go that way to come around like a big kind of bicycle chain. I'm sending every vertebrae to the wall behind, and I'm feeling kind of like a cog of a wheel, my rib cage go back to lift me up. I'm just going to breathe here. I'm going to reach for the back of the legs now. Do a little widening in the shoulder blades by gently pulling the elbows out. Stay up there, don't lose height. Put the hands behind the head and then find the length out of that again. So you're going to do one more there. Coming up and around. Reach the hands, widen through the back of the collarbone, shoulder blades, widen through the collarbones, looking down your cheekbones. Stay up there and then come back down and long. And have a moment there. Roll over onto your side. How are you doing? So this is Z-sit. So I've got one leg in and one leg back. And just do a little bit of a movement here. If you can't get here, we've got blocks that you can sit on when you come. Or you can do this here or here. But you want to prop yourself up so you feel like you're on both sitting bones. And you're just going to come into what we call a mermaid sit. You can also do it off here a little bit. So, but we can do lots of support and different options in studio for this. So you can decide and I'll help you in class. From here, hand reaches out, you're going to come and turn the upper rib cage, shoulders melting down into that lovely side breath, bend, and then come back, and you're going to counterbalance up the other side. So a big kind of circle, drawing a big rainbow above the head. Inhale, let your sitting bone drop away, and then come up and through. And you just do 2 more like that. Breathing here, coming around and reaching up. Finding the length in the waist, movement in the upper back. Come around the whole way now, so both hands are here, and you're just going to lift the heart and send away. So you're doing a little bit of an extension, heart lift, and then shoulder blades spread, like we kind of did a little bit of before. Just be aware that you're trying to move your rib cage, your thoracic, your mid upper back, rather than your neck. We kind of like to do it a lot here, so you've just got to be patient again with it. Just a little bit of movement through here, come back around to the side and come all the way up through. And this is a good place to get to because it's internal, just come and rock here, and external rotation in your hip that we are looking to get. And when the hip is balanced, so we're looking for equal kind of mobility in the hips and stability, it's a really kind of, you've got really good stable legs there. It's a good place to be. So you're going to come around the other side and do a little bit of rolling around here. So this is a lovely kind of exercise in itself, just a little bit of rotation, and then when you come back, let your pelvis lead. So your pelvis sends you away, and then your pelvis brings you back. And don't forget, if this is not a place where you can be, we're going to alter, we're going to adapt, and we're going to modify in class. So coming up and over, and at home you can kind of sit on a chair to do this. You can pause the video, get comfy on the settee and do it. There's all kinds of things and options that you can do. You're just having a little bit of a taster, a little bit of kind of what's to come. So here, when I turn my rib cage, rather than shift everything, yeah? So I'm finding that it's like my kind of turning of a car wheel. What I'm going to do this time, come all the way, and as well as coming over a little bit, you're just going to rotate. So we've done 2 movements through the spine, and then you're just going to use your hands to push the floor forward. Draw the heel of the hands towards you to lift the heart. Reach the fingers long to push away. Heel of hands to lift the heart. One more, just checking that you're breathing through it. And just play, have fun, like just coax. You might even feel like a bit of a wriggle here. It's just moving the spine in all these wonderful, wonderful places that we can. So you're going to come around onto your knees. If kneeling's not for you, we've got lots of options, so don't worry about that. Definitely pad out if that works. So come onto hands and knees and just have a little bit of a rock forwards and backwards. My knees are not too wide in class. I always tend to see that people have their knees too wide, so they're kind of hip socket distance, not as wide as my pelvis, yeah? It's usually like a good guide is that you can just put the kind of the fist of the hand between your knees, and that's kind of where you need to be. And I'm just going to rock. I don't really care what you do with your feet at this point, but it's quite nice to have some with toes tucked under, so you're just doing a bit of a foot stretch, and then some with toes flat, yeah? And then spread the fingers, lift the back of the head up, hold the ceiling up, and you're kind of just holding space here, and I'm on all fours. So from here, I am gonna tuck my toes under. I'm gonna reach my heels back to hover my knees, and then gonna push with my feet to take me forward, and send my fingers forward to take me back. Push with my feet to bring me forward, fingers to come back. And just do a couple like this. So we're just getting and playing with what it's like to come into some weight bearing. You can rest anytime. You might want to do one and come back down, yeah? From there, we're going to do a cat-cow. So you're going to lead it from your pelvis, turn the pelvis under, feel the back of the waist expand to the ceiling, reach the tailbone away, feel that the heart lifts forward and up a little bit. So rolling from the pelvis into that lovely flexion, and then reaching the tailbone to come out of that. From there, just come back for a second and give your wrists a little bit of a shake if they need to. We're going to go into some extensions. So you're going to come down onto your front and give yourself a little bit of support with your hands. Shoulders relaxed. You can rest the hands on the forehead if you want. Just give your legs a little bit of a reach back and a wiggle, so you're opening up through the front of the hips and you're feeling your shoulders relax and your pubic bones soften into the mat. So from here, I am going to keep supporting my hands here for a moment. I'm going to reach one leg so far and long behind me that it feels like it wants to lift. So I'm not going to lift it just yet. Gonna from Sheffield, a little bit of Sheffield lingo there. I'm just going to reach it. You know, like you see the cats and the dogs kind of stretch themselves out and then let it go down. And just do that a few times. Just relaxing, checking in with the breath, feeling that you're just creating a little bit more space through the front of the pelvis. And then I'm going to let one leg feel like it sinks, reach the other leg, and I'm going to lift it by thinking about my thigh bone lifting the hamstring up. Yeah, so the leg stays long and it's the back extensors like the glutes and all the group of extensors that lift the leg rather than you kind of feel like you're lifting your leg but you're bending it, yeah? So one leg sinks, the other leg reaches so long, you can imagine I've got your foot, gently pulling it away, and then take your mind to the thigh bone and get the thigh bone to lift the leg up. And then you're just going to keep going. And you're going to play around with that idea that one leg sinks so the other leg lifts. Yeah, you can do a few here, finding the length all the way out of the waist. Take the arms out now, shoulders relaxed. Take the arms as wide as they need to be to make your shoulders come away from your ears, and you can even put a little bend in your arms if you want to. So I'm going to lift my heart and chest a little, and my eye line may go to the front of the mat without lifting the neck. And then I'm going to reach my arms and legs so much that they might float off the floor. And allow myself to breathe here. Check in with the shoulders that they haven't come up. And then let your pubic bone sink, let your lower rib cage sink. And then you're going to swim. So you're just going to play around a little bit with, can you breathe? You might want to just do the legs. You might want to keep the legs still and do the arms. Could you feel like everything could have a little bit of, and you're going to go a little bit faster. Breathe in, taking time out if you need to. Legs reaching, arms reaching, shoulders soft, and relax. Well done. Come back up and have a cat stretch or a child's pose, and just reach and relax out from there. So I'm just going to do one more bit of fundamentals for you. So this is all the basics. But it's good. So come back onto your back. Let's have a play around with some of the rotational strong class classical exercises. Interlink the fingers, place them behind the head, elbows in your peripheral vision, and just take a moment to just notice the end of the pelvis sinking, tailbone reaching, so you have your natural curves in your spine. So from here, I'm going to stand down into one leg. So feel that one leg, I'm going to do my right, has kind of like a footprint in the sand. So this leg comes up for nothing, yeah? So it's easy to lift the leg. The thigh bone just drops into the socket and the leg rolls towards me. I'm just going to do that a few times. One leg sinking, therefore the other leg floats. It's kind of your gait, you should walk. Nice. And then we're going to stay down. Same leg's going to come up, but the other leg is going to be long now. So that same intention, that leg's going to drop and sink to lift this leg up. Yeah. And then the other leg is going to reach so far like before that maybe it reaches off the ground and you're going to come in to your chest lift. So we've practiced all of this, and then we're going to come long and out of it, reaching that leg in the opposite direction, and then this leg can come down. So when you can find the sink and the drop into the mat, everything just comes alive. So let your right leg sink. And it's not that I'm pressing, it's on the beach, it's sinking into the sand. And as soon as you feel that sink down, knee soft, even use your heel a little bit, the other leg can come up. And then you start reaching the right leg like mad as you come around, looking down your cheekbones. And that leg may or may not pop up. So this time we're going to bring the armpit to the hip and then come back and reset. And we're just going to play around with that now, make it a little bit more continuous rather than thinking about it too much. So can you feel that we've practiced now rather than do it? And then we're going to come the other way. So one leg sinks, one leg lifts. We've got 3 of these. My left footprint sinking, pelvis staying central and stable. And this leg doesn't like to drop and roll, but I'm going to teach it some things. And then can you do that with the leg straight and have that same feeling that this leg drops to lift this leg up without any lifting of kind of the curves of the spine. And then I'm going to reach that leg so much and come around. You don't have to do the flex and the lift. And then I'm going to reset. And we're just going to play around with that. It feels quite different this side. So feel the weight of the left leg. The right leg drops and rolls, and I'm coming to the wall behind me to come around. And I'm telling you a lot right now. Armpit to hip. And then just play around. Just feel, if you can, get even a tiny element of that. I do tend to speak a lot in videos. I won't overwhelm you as much. And then we're going to go. We're going to stay up here now. And we're going to have our armpit to hip. Staying in the centre of the road, reaching one leg long, allowing the other leg to fall in toward you. And then bring both legs in, lower yourself down, and have a moment there. So, a bit of a taster. Hopefully you didn't just watch it. And you could just watch it as well and go, oh, I see what she means, or I've not got a clue what she's talking about. But don't worry, I've got you. I'll take really good care of you, and we'll